I lived like my future self for 3 days, and this happened. 3 days. That's all it took. 3 days of doing something so simple, so ridiculously basic, that I almost didn't try it. And what happened? On day 1, I got an email that made my jaw drop. On day 2, a stranger offered me an opportunity I'd been chasing for months. On day 3, money showed up in a way I genuinely cannot explain logically. I'm not talking about manifesting a parking spot. I'm not talking about feeling good vibes. I'm talking about real, tangible, measurable shifts in my reality. And all I did was one thing differently. I stopped living as the person I was and started living as the person I was becoming. Now, before you roll your eyes, before you think this is some woo-woo nonsense, hear me out. Because what I'm about to share isn't magic. It isn't wishful thinking. It isn't just believe and it'll happen. It's psychology. It's neuroscience. It's how your brain actually works. And when you understand it, when you actually apply it, everything shifts. Not in some mystical, unexplainable way. In a, wow, why didn't anyone tell me this sooner kind of way. So let me take you through exactly what I did, exactly what happened, and exactly how you can do the same thing starting today. Let me explain something first. There's this concept called the law of assumption. It was popularized by a man named Neville Goddard back in the 1900s. But here's the thing, it's not really mystical at all. The law of assumption simply states, whatever you assume to be true, you will eventually experience as true. Not because the universe is listening to your thoughts, but because you are listening to your thoughts. And your thoughts shape your actions. Your actions shape your habits. Your habits shape your results. Let me give you a simple example. Imagine 2 people applying for the same job. Person A walks in thinking, I probably won't get this. There are more qualified people. I'm lucky to even get an interview. Person B walks in thinking, this job is mine. I'm exactly what they need. I'm just here to confirm what I already know. Same qualifications, same resume, completely different energy. Who do you think the interviewer feels more confident about? It's not magic. It's not luck. It's assumption shaping behavior, and behavior shaping outcomes. Here's what most people get wrong. They wait for their reality to change before they change how they feel. I'll feel confident when I have money. I'll feel successful when I get the promotion. I'll feel worthy when someone loves me. But that's backwards. The feeling comes first. The reality follows. Not because of some cosmic law, but because when you feel different, you act differently. And when you act differently, you get different results. So I decided to test this, not as a believer, as a skeptic. I gave myself 3 days to live as if I already had everything I wanted. And what happened genuinely shocked me. Day 1 started with a simple question. If I already had the life I wanted, how would I wake up tomorrow? Not how I would wish for it, not how I would hope for it. How would I wake up if it was already mine? I realized the future version of me doesn't wake up anxious. She doesn't grab her phone immediately and scroll through other people's lives. She doesn't start the day already stressed about money. She doesn't rush through her morning like she's running late for her own life. So I changed my morning. I woke up calm. I moved slower. I made my coffee like someone who had time, because in my mind, I did. I got dressed like someone who had things to do and places to be, not frantically, intentionally. And here's where it gets interesting. Around 11 a.m., I got an email. A brand I had reached out to 2 months ago, a brand that never responded, suddenly replied. Not just replied, they wanted to collaborate. They apologized for the delay and said my message resurfaced at the perfect time. Coincidence? Maybe. But I hadn't changed my pitch. I hadn't followed up. The only thing that changed was me. I wasn't desperate anymore. I wasn't waiting and hoping. I was already living as if opportunities were coming, and one did. That was day 1. Day 2, I pushed it further. I asked myself, how does the successful version of me carry herself throughout the day? And I realized something uncomfortable. The old me walked into rooms hoping to be noticed. The future me walks into rooms knowing she belongs. The future me is too busy creating to need approval. So I embodied that. Not arrogantly, not pretending, just stepping into the version of me that already exists in my mind. That afternoon, I had a casual conversation with someone I'd met at a coffee shop a few weeks earlier. We started talking about work, and she mentioned she was looking for someone to help with a project. The old me would have said, "Oh, that's cool. I hope you find someone." But I didn't say that. I said, "I can do that. Let me show you what I've been working on." Not pushy, not desperate, just certain. She paused, looked at me, and said, "You know what? I was going to post this job next week, but let's skip that. Can you start Monday?" An opportunity I didn't even know existed handed to me in a coffee shop because I showed up as someone who expected opportunities. Day 2 taught me something powerful. Confidence isn't built by results. Results are built by confidence. The energy you carry determines the doors that open. Day 3 is the one that still gives me chills. I woke up and asked myself one more question. What does the wealthy version of me think about money? And I realized my entire relationship with money was broken. I thought about money with fear. I checked my bank account with anxiety. I spent it with guilt. I saved with scarcity. Every thought I had about money was rooted in not enough. So I shifted. I started thinking, money comes to me easily. I always have more than enough. Wealth is my natural state. Not as affirmations I was trying to believe, as assumptions I was choosing to live from. I checked my bank account without fear. I paid the bill without resentment. I even bought myself a small treat without guilt, because the wealthy version of me doesn't punish herself for enjoying life. That evening, I got a notification. A refund I had completely forgotten about, from something I purchased over 6 months ago, randomly processed. $347. Money I didn't know was coming. Money I had mentally written off, just appeared. Now here's what I want you to understand. That refund was always going to come. It was already in the system somewhere. But the timing? The fact that it showed up on day 3 of this experiment? That's not something I can logically explain. What I can tell you is this. When I stopped living in poverty, when I stopped identifying as someone who struggles with money, when I started assuming abundance was already mine, my reality started reflecting it back. So let me break down what actually happened. Because this isn't magic, it's mechanics. Your brain has something called the Reticular Activating System, the RAS. It's basically a filter that decides what information gets your attention. You know how when you decide to buy a certain car, suddenly you see that car everywhere? It's not that more of those cars appeared. It's that your brain started noticing what was already there. The same thing happens with opportunities, money, and success. When you assume you're someone who struggles, your brain filters for evidence of struggle. When you assume you're someone who attracts abundance, your brain filters for evidence of abundance. Same world, different filters, different results. But here's the second part, and this is crucial. When you feel different, you behave differently. On day 1, I wasn't desperate, so the brand felt my energy and responded. On day 2, I was confident, so I spoke up and landed an opportunity. On day 3, I was abundant, so I noticed money flowing instead of focusing on what was missing. The assumption changed my state. My state changed my actions. My actions changed my outcomes. That's not woo-woo, that's psychology. That's how every successful person operates, whether they realize it or not. They assume success before they see it. They feel wealthy before the money arrives. They act confident before they have proof. And then reality catches up. So here's my challenge for you. Give this 3 days, just 3. Wake up tomorrow and ask yourself, if I already had everything I wanted, how would I live today? Not someday, today. How would you walk? How would you talk? How would you treat yourself? How would you show up? Stop waiting for your reality to give you permission to feel good. Start feeling good and watch your reality shift to match. This isn't about faking it. It's about becoming it. The future version of you already exists. In your mind. In your potential. In the choices you haven't made yet. Your only job is to start living from that place now. Not when you have more money. Not when you lose the weight. Not when someone finally believes in you. Now. Because here's the truth. You don't attract what you want. You attract what you are. So become it first and watch everything change. If this video resonated, if something clicked, drop a comment. I am becoming. Claim it, speak it, make it real. Then subscribe and hit that notification bell because I'm going to keep sharing exactly how I'm building this life, one assumption at a time. Like this video so it reaches someone who needs to hear this today. Thank you for watching. Now go live like your future self because she's waiting for you to catch up. I'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.